And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Lou Kellogg Stadium for tonight's second round playoff matchup between your very own Regis Jesuit Raiders and the Valor Christian Eagles. Steven Snyder here, joined with my producer, Joe Quigley, my cameraman, Colin Stover, our stats man, Tyler Ballinger, and my very own color man, Nick Valeni. Sorry. Good to have you here, Nick.
Good to be here.
Looks like we're going to have a great matchup tonight. Wow, the weather here, Nick, is just 2 hours ago when I was driving here, it wasn't raining at all, and next thing you know, we have heavy snow.
Not at all. This weather should help into the hand of the Regis Raiders because Valor's quarterback, Luke Del Rio, is from Florida and never played in the snow before.
And Nick, sorry, Nick.
Go ahead.
Great point there. The Regis Jesuit team, as we've been saying all year, has been centered around a Big Ten style offense and defense, where they're based on a run style offense and a run style defense and a power running at that. So I think this weather really doesn't affect them overall. I know Matt Hotelling was getting some confidence throwing, but really this plays into the Raiders' hands perfectly.
Absolutely. Matt, I remember from Matt playing with Matt last year, he's very good in the cold weather. So this should be a benefit for the Regis offense.
And it will indeed here. We got about 4 minutes until kickoff here at Lou Kellogg as the Raiders take the field. And, Nick, what are your keys to the game for both teams? We'll start with the Raiders.
My key for the Raiders is their defensive line. Containing Christian McCaffrey is going to be their main priority.
And now, what do you think about for Valor? What do you think their keys to the game are?
Luke Del Rio, obviously, because he's not used to the cold weather, so if he can throw the ball, I think Valor will have good success today.
Indeed, and I think for me, Nick, my keys for the Raiders are to, we don't know yet if Chuk Ovena and Grant Neal are back playing. So it appears Grant Neal is back and Chuk is not. So we'll see if Grant plays at the position of running back with the Williams brothers. Chase Bertinelli still also out for the Raiders, but they need to get the run up the middle established. That's the key for the Raiders because that opens up screens, that opens up motion handoffs, that opens up so much for the Raiders. And I agree with you about the Raiders' defensive line. They definitely need to get pressure on Del Rio, too. If you can pressure a quarterback in unfamiliar elements, that is going to almost force mistakes. I think for Valor, my keys to the game are beat the Raiders on special teams. The Raiders have great special teams. They have great confidence in them, but Valor does, too. And if they can beat the Raiders on special teams plays, like Christian McCaffrey returns and punt returns against Sebastian Harris, they definitely will be able to take hold of the Raiders.
Looks like we got about 2.5 minutes till game time. And
we'll see here, Nick. In this snow, it's very it's sticky. It's snowball snow, really. So I think that it's definitely very slick. And we'll see here, actually, we have a couple of interviews we'd like to get on air before the game. I got a couple of interviews with a couple of players, and we'll just let those roll for a sec. Excuse the momentary silence before we get these going.
Should we be thinking of anything to see anything special from maybe?
Sorry, let me restart that. Let me restart that, folks.
Steven Snyder here with Regis Jesuit kicker Vince Sabin. Vince, looks like this weather today is going to be good for you.
Well, just try to get past it. Try not to slip, shorten up your steps, and then just hit the ball cleanly. We're not going to do a lot of long kicks today. We're going to keep it short. And with Christian McCaffrey returning, we're just going to do a lot of squib kicks today.
All right, sounds good. Should we be thinking of anything to see anything special from maybe the special teams today?
Not necessarily. I mean, Sebastian Harris, he's going to have a great game punting today. He's going to flip the field for us, and he's going to put them deep inside their own 20.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the interview, Vince. Steve inside here with Cole Plummer. Cole, great to be here. Looks like you're injured for today's game?
Yes, I am. I've been out for the season.
Antonio Brody says hi. All right, so what do you think, what should we be looking for from the Raider defense today?
You know, look for all hats on the ball. Look for some hard hits. Getting Christian McCaffrey no yards.
And so some keys there. You could see the Raiders' confidence in their special teams, and that's why, for me, Nick, today it's a key for the game for the Raiders. Valor Eagles will be kicking off to Regis in this first half of football. Do you think the Raiders wanted the ball first today, Nick?
I think so, because that opportunity to get on the board first is key in a big game like this.
So we'll see here. Raiders typically a slow starting team, Nick. So averaging a lot of points, but against Highlands Ranch, that was no factor. And even last week in the playoffs, that'll be a touchback in the end zone caught by Shane Moody. For you folks out there, they're new viewers, if the ball goes into the end zone, it is an automatic touchback in high school football. So it looks like we have a really exciting game here. Emotions have been high all week, Nick.
Absolutely. There's a lot of hype going up into this game today between the players and the students from both schools.
So, see here. So Matt Hotaling takes it. One receiver out wide, one in the backfield. Two tight ends. Motion by Robert Orban. Hotaling pitches back to Jalen Williams. Jalen gets to the outside and looks like he will have about 4 yards. Nick, interesting call by the Raiders starting on the outside rather than establishing the inside run first.
Very true. The more conventional Big Ten offense is up to the middle.
So we'll see here. I know Regis didn't have a lot of luck up the middle last week against Gateway, so maybe they might be a little concerned, but Valor's not nearly as big as Gateway.
Yeah, that's true.
Hotaling pitches out to Williams. Williams gets cut down for what appears to be no gain. He will get 1 yard, actually. So that'll bring us to 2nd and 5. Or 3rd and 5, excuse me. Raiders in dangerous territory already. Do you throw here in this weather?
I would. I have faith in the quarterback, Matt Hotaling. He's been very good in the cold in the past, and I think he can deliver today.
So we'll see here. One tight end, two receivers out wide. It'll be a fake. He throws it out on a screen to Alex Mitchell, and Alex will pick up the first down and more, getting about 8 yards on that play. Great play call, especially using a setup where it looked like they could have pitched to Jalen Williams again.
Absolutely. Very good play call. I don't think Valor was expecting that.
I don't think they were expecting it either. And great little note there. Great blocking by Jalen Williams. He not only faked the pitch, but he went out and blocked for Alex Mitchell. So, Matt Hotaling fumbles the snap, and he will fall on that for a 2-yard loss. Christian McCaffrey out there, the Iron Man, playing both sides of the ball. I know Jake, you would make a reference to Taylor Martinez. No, Jake is not with me today, though. Glad to have Nick here. Jake's actually at a game in Oklahoma Baylor, but he'd always make a reference to Taylor Martinez with the Iron Man. So, 2-back set. Matt Hotaling under center, 2 receivers out wide. The pitch to Jalen Williams. And he is stopped for no gain. And will remain 3rd and 11 here. Really interesting play call by the Raiders, Nick. Pitching the ball. They have not handed it off once in weather like this.
Yeah, that's questionable to me because there's too much risk in the pitch of the ball, especially in this cold weather.
Definitely is. We'll see what the Raiders do here. Big sub. 3 receivers. Trips up top. 4 receivers, trips up top. Looks like a setup for Eagle, one of the Raiders' premier pass plays. And Hotaling drops back, throws across to Trevor Williams. We have not seen that play all day, but it only goes for a gain of 1. That'll bring up 4th and 10, and the Raiders will be forced to punt early on this drive.
That was a very slow moving derived, in my opinion, about of the Raiders. Very questionable play calling.
Indeed. Raiders usually eat up a lot of clock, so not surprised the pace, but pitch back Sebastian Harris. Sebastian, great punt. Gets back. That will be fielded by Valor Christian's number 36, Chaz Polson, and he will be brought down after a short gain. That punt will be netted at 25 yards. So decent punt there by Sebastian, but the return really nets into a mediocre punt. And here comes Valor Christian starting off with great field position. Del Rio under center. 4 receiver set. Man in motion. It'll be a pitch outside to number 5, Christian McCaffrey, who gets there's a fumble. It appears they fumbled, and the Raiders have recovered. We'll see what the call is, and that is the signal.
Nice fumble recovery by the Raiders. It looks like that was maybe number 10, Quinn Vandenkoppel, that stripped that.
Wow, what a swing in momentum. The first play from possession, Christian McCaffrey, the all-star for Valor, fumbles the ball, and the Raiders have it right back.
A very uncharacteristic turnover for Christian McCaffrey.
And we'll see here, man in motion, Robert Orban. 2 receivers for the Raiders, the second man in motion. And that'll be a handoff to Trevor, the tow truck Williams, who drags along for about 5.
And there's our run up the middle that we are looking for.
Indeed, Nick. Once they can establish that, they can really start to get things going. 2nd and 5 here for the Raiders. And you have to think they've entered 4-down territory, Nick.
Absolutely. Especially with the capabilities of Valor's offense to put up points. The Raiders need to put up points as much as they can.
Hotelling. Fakes the handoff, drops back, throws. Great body positioning from Alex Mitchell to make that catch. That'll be a first down on a 23-yard passing play, bringing it all the way down to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10, Regis Jesuit.
That was a great catch by Alex Mitchell, squaring his body to Matt Hotelling in the offense.
Indeed. And Matt Hotelling, 1 back set, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. Man in motion. And that'll be a handoff to John Schmidt. John Schmidt gets the outside, and he'll get 8 yards. Interesting, Nick. We've seen that play work on and off weeks. There's never been a team who's had it mediocre. It's either worked very well, like against Highlands Ranch, or not worked at all, like against Gateway last week. Do you think that that's a sign that possibly this play could work very well against Valor, and we'll see it a lot?
Absolutely. I think we'll see that play a couple more times, especially with the speed capabilities of John Schmidt, who's a tremendous athlete.
So Matt Hotelling drops back, throws, incomplete pass intended for DeJour Elliott. So we'll see here what the Raiders do. And Raiders slow to get to the line, but looks like they'll go out 2 receiver set, 1 tight end, 2 men in the backfield. Robert Orban in motion. And the snap, that'll be a handoff to Jalen Williams, who goes right up the middle and is absolutely stuffed. Now, interesting, we'll see where this ball gets spotted. I do not believe the Raiders got the first down. And they did not. So 4th and 1, what do you do here, Nick?
I would go for it. I'm expecting a run up the middle as the Raiders offense normally does in situations like this.
This is a very short field goal. I would almost advocate for a kick here just to get points on the board.
That's a very good point.
But we'll see here. Looks like the Raiders will go for it. Hotelling handoff to Jalen Williams. Jalen's second effort gets it. And wow, he hit the line, bounce, and then managed to keep going there.
Looks like Jalen got a nice truck on the first hit. He picked up an extra couple yards.
And he definitely did. He kind of opened up his own gap there, which you don't see too often. But great way for Jalen Williams to keep his head down and not give up. He didn't look up. He just kept running. And sometimes that's just what you got to do, Nick.
Absolutely.
1st and 10 from the 14 for the Raiders. Two-back set, two receivers out wide. Matt Hotelling snaps, looks for John Schmidt on a quick pass route, and he will catch that down inside the 10 for a 5-yard gain. Wow, Nick, it's almost like Coach Nolan went home and listened to our whole season of broadcasts, because the Raiders have now had 3 West Coast quick passing slants, where in the rest of the season they only had 2.
I'm very impressed with Coach Nolan's play calling today so far. I think he has been listening to us, Steven.
And it's good to know. Oh, a quick spin around screen. Alex Mitchell lost the football, but I believe they will rule he is down. Valor side livid, but that's okay. It'll be second and indeed, it was a fumble recovered by the Valor Eagles. So tough break for the Raiders, fumbling on Valor's 10-yard line.
Even though that drive ended, they didn't get any points in that drive, I thought that was a very impressive drive by the Raiders against this tough Valor defense.
Indeed. I really think the Raiders needed points there, Nick, and really unfortunate there. Raiders showing flashes of earlier season playing, a little less disciplined than normal, but we'll see Del Rio in the he's in a pistol, actually. 4 receivers set. Offset receivers on the lower screen. Motion by number 2, Daryl Hawkins. And that'll be false start on the Valor Eagles. Somebody jumped early there. Looks like they might have been confused, Nick, because that play took a long time to develop.
Absolutely. I think there was some confusion on that play. The running back didn't look like he knew exactly where he was going to go.
So we'll see here. That'll now be 1st and 15 from their own 5-yard line. Dangerous territory. Valor in a pistol again. Del Rio. Taking a long time again. Motion by Hawkins. Del Rio fakes the handoff. And he's looking deep. And way overshoots his receiver by it. It wasn't way, but it was a good 5 yards there. Valor trying to shock the Raiders maybe. Very interesting play call. I don't vote against it. I mean, I think it was a pretty good call there, Nick.
I think so. I think they're trying to prove to the Raiders that, yeah, Del Rio can throw in this weather.
Indeed. Never really think about the mental game of football up here. That's a very interesting point, actually, Nick. Trying to just get in the mental game by saying we can't throw. So we'll see here. Del Rio hands it off to Hawkins. Hawkins finds a hole, and he gets through. Looks like he'll pick up the first down, if just that. And we'll wait for the ruling. No, he will. Yes, he will pick it up. So, wow, great running there by Valor.
Absolutely. That's going to be a key for the Raider defense, is to stop Valor's 2 dual back set.
Indeed, Del Rio in the shotgun. 2 men in the backfield with him. 3 receivers set. Wow, Valor's taking a lot of time between their own snaps. Del Rio with the snap. Steps back, fires, finds Hawkins with a lot of space. And it looks like he will pick up another first down. Yes, he will. Just let the men clear out there. Valor taking an uncharacteristically long amount of time between snaps, Nick.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just a change. I don't know why they're doing that. It's very uncharacteristic for them. They're normally a hurry-up kind of spread-style offense.
So we'll see here. Del Rio, 2 men in the backfield. Hawkins, the deep back. 2 receivers set. 1 tight end. Del Rio again, taking forever. And the snap, it'll be a quick screen to number 36, and there will be a flag. We'll see here what the call is. It'll be a timeout, Valor Christian. So taking too much time and needing to call a timeout, that's usually a mistake we see from the Raiders, Nick. So really interesting.
It is very interesting. There seems to be a lot of confusion.
And I don't know why. Valor is usually such a well-oiled machine, getting all bogged down in confusion.
Yeah, I don't really have an explanation for that.
If you want to say something about the game or analyze it, just say it. I don't care. So we will see here. Regis defense already back out on the field. So here come the Eagles. 1st and 10 from their own 31. 5 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in this first quarter. One back set. Hawkins in the backfield. It'll be a handoff to Hawkins. Hawkins finds space. Hawkins, the 50, the 40, the 30, and he's tripped up at the 20. Barely caught there by number 30. Daniel Talley, number 32. I thought he was going to the house, Nick.
So did I. Tally barely made a diving effort to barely nick him to get him down.
Really dangerous there. Hawkins now has 2 runs for 65 yards. He's averaging 32 and a half yards a carry, and the Raiders will take a timeout just to try to get their head back on their shoulders.
Looks like Daniel Talley was injured on the play.
That's really unfortunate for the Raiders. He is such an instrument in their secondary. So this could really hurt the Raiders. We'll see here. Regis student section starting to fill up. Both student sections having a solid turnout today.
Little less than I expected because of the weather today.
Definitely, but here we will see if the Raiders can come back out and collect themselves. They do have a great red zone defense that we've seen all year. They've been absolutely fantastic.
They really have. Their just ability to tighten up on D when the teams are just driving on them is very impressive.
Is indeed. I'd venture to say they're the best red zone defense in the state of Colorado. From the Raiders 18, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Del Rio, 2 back set, 1 tight end, no receivers. And man in motion, Hawkins. And the snap, he hands it off to Christian McCaffrey, who's promptly brought down in the backfield by number 10 for the Raiders, Quinn Van de Koppel. So, wow. Quinn just slicing and dicing that Valor line apart to get to him.
There's that Raiders red zone D we just talked about right there.
So, here we go. Valor having an uncharacteristically long huddle to begin with. They had a couple late subs, but really, I've never seen a team use the clock. It looks like they're trying to use the Raiders game against them. Del Rio calling out a play in the shotgun. No backs. Christian McCaffrey motions to make it a 1-back set. And I believe we have a false start on the Eagles. No, delay of game, Nick. Wow. I didn't think they had taken that long in the huddle, but apparently they had.
I guess so. That didn't seem very long at all, actually.
So that'll move Valor back 5 yards. They might need to reassess something here, Nick, because you cannot be taking calls like this.
This is very unusual for Valor to take so long before each play.
Del Rio snaps, tosses it out. No look, trust pass, an absolutely terrible throw. Didn't even come close to his receiver. And that'll bring up 3rd and 17 from the Raiders' 25. And out of field goal range, you have to think this is 4-down territory, but Raiders feeling good right now.
Absolutely. Their defense has tightened up incredibly since the beginning of this drive when they were just getting laid over by the Valor offense.
And actually, it's nice to see a lot of people from Regis I know didn't have confidence against these 4 Valor Eagles. But I actually sat at the Arapahoe Heritage first-round playoff game with Joe Bozeman and J.J. Kilgore, and they said the weather goes our way. We might have a little help. We can win. Del Rio under pressure, rolls out, finds a throw across the middle to number 6, Alex Ulmer. And it appears he has picked up the first down. No, I believe he's going to be a yard short. But we will wait for the official ruling. And that'll be 4th and 2 from the Raiders' 9-yard line. So 4th and a short 2. might be a long one. So we'll see if Raiders can hold it here. Really unfortunate there that they gave up 16 yards on one play.
Absolutely. You can imagine it's going to be a run in this situation for the Valor offense.
Christian McCaffrey in motion. And there's another stoppage. And another delay of game on the Valor Eagles. Wow. What pitiful. All year, I have been harping on the Raiders' time management, Nick. They have done nothing that comes close to this. Absolutely horrid time management from the Eagles tonight.
Absolutely. This is so uncharacteristic of their offense. They're normally a quick, almost Oregon Duck-style spread offense, just fast-paced.
Field goal here attempted by number 84 for the Eagles. And that is up. And that is missed. He missed it left. Wow. Number 84, Brandon Spencer, missed the kick left and didn't have much spin on it. Looks like he might have slipped a little before he kicked that there.
Absolutely. These conditions have changed the field to make it more slippery and slick.
So, wow. I never thought I would see 3 minutes remaining after both teams have been on the inside the other team's 10 that we would have a 0-0 game.
I think that defensive stand by the Raiders' red zone defense is a huge momentum changer in this game early on.
Hotaling under center. One tight end, two in the backfield, one receiver out wide. Man in motion. Handoff to Trevor Williams. No, excuse me, that was Jalen. He is absolutely lit up in the backfield.
Yeah, maybe that's why we try to see some pitches earlier. That's exactly what they are afraid of.
Indeed, and we'll see here. Looks like we're going to have a 2nd and 10 from the 20. No gain there for Jalen. One man in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. One tight end, Hotaling under center. Hotaling takes the snap, looks, rolls out, tries to run away, and he will get away. Oh! Absolutely clocked there. I don't know if Hotaling was trying to slide. I don't think the refs can give him the benefit of the doubt there and get the flag out there because Hotaling hasn't slid all season.
Yeah, he has a chance to get himself hurt by doing that. That's just foolish.
He definitely does. Absolutely got lit up. And you know when defenses see a quarterback running, their ears kind of perk up and they go quarterback and they can instantly hit 2 times harder.
Absolutely.
Pitch out to Trevor. And he will appear to lose a yard, bringing up 4th and 5. So I imagine we'll see the Regis punt team here again. And indeed,
it looks like we do.
And indeed we will. Christian McCaffrey and Chaz Polson back to return for the Eagles. Sebastian Harris back to punt for the Raiders. Inside 2 minutes left in this first quarter. And the snap is high. Sebastian manages to get it down and away. It looked like it was tipped by a Valor Eagle, though. That'll trickle out for only a 20-yard punt. So that snap really giving Sebastian some time issues, and Valor able to get a hand on it.
Absolutely, that could be very costly because now the Valor offense has very great field position.
And really, we've had trouble with the long snapping position all year. Nick, Will Dine's a long snapper, but really Raiders no true long snappers that would give them an advantage. So Sebastian's been great at fielding these poor snaps, but there the time just bit him. Del Rio in the shotgun, 2 backs next to him. To his right, 2 receivers set, motion, and that'll be a handoff to Hawkins. Hawkins bounces outside. He's got 1 man to beat. And he almost got by Shane Moody, but still a pickup of 10 yards and what will be a Valor first down. So, wow, Hawkins didn't even do anything special there. He just ran.
No, the Raiders defense just has to work on that because that was going to be the biggest. That was one of my biggest issues coming into this game was going to be containing them on the outside because they have so much speed and agility at the running back position.
Del Rio in the shotgun, snaps, looks for a throw, and gets it to Polson. We have now seen that play burn the Raiders 3 times in a row. I think maybe the Raiders looking for a quarterback spy.
Maybe.
Or some mixed zone man coverage, but really that play has been killing the Raiders. Del Rio on the shotgun. One back next to him. And it'll be a fake handoff, design quarterback run. That was actually Christian McCaffrey running a wildcat. Very interesting there.
Haven't seen that yet today.
No, Valor pulling out the wildcat. Haven't seen that all season. So they're a very dynamic team, as you can see there. They'll pick up the first down on that run. It's about a 4-yard gain. So now back down inside the Raiders 20 in the red zone, actually on the Raiders 12. 40 seconds remaining in this first quarter play. Del Rio under center, 2 backs, 1 receiver out wide. Valor taking a while again. And the snap, look for the handoff to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey bouncing around like a pinball and managing to pick up some yards. He will get that down to the Regis Jesuit 7 for a 2nd and 3.
Christian McCaffrey showed a lot of patience on that play, too. He just waited, found the hole, and hit it.
Christian actually got a bad spot there from the officials, and that'll be 2nd and 5. So we'll see here. Del Rio under center, 2 back set, 2 receivers out wide. And that will be the end of the first quarter. So at the end of 1 here at Lou Kellogg Stadium, we are deadlocked at 0 between the Regis Jesuit Raiders and Valor Christian Eagles. We will be back to start the second quarter of play in a moment. And welcome back to Lou Kellogg Stadium, ladies and gentlemen. To begin the second quarter of play, Valor Eagles starting with a 2nd and 5 from the Regis Jesuit 8-yard line. Raiders, quick recap, Raiders fumbled on the 10 after Valor fumbled on their first offensive play. Valor did kick to the Raiders, and then neither team's been really able to make progress. Valor had a missed field goal late in the half. Now they're driving again. A fake handoff and a pitch out to Christian McCaffrey. Christian almost has the edge. He will pick up the first down, and they will say he is down at the 1-inch mark from what it appears. First and goal for the Valor Eagles.
Very nice play call by the Valor offense with a fake, looks like a fake handoff, and then a pitch to Christian McCaffrey fooled the Raider defense.
It really did, and these outside runs really fooling the Raiders. Raiders stacking the box. 7 men within about 2 inches of the quarterback. And they will hand it off to Christian McCaffrey, who will get brought down in the backfield. Looks like that'll be a loss of about 2. And now Valor second and goal from the Raider 3. So we'll see here what the Raider play call is. Looks like they aren't putting as many in the box as they were, maybe expecting an outside run. Del Rio under center, 2 in the backfield. Polson in motion for Valor. And it'll be a fake pitch out to Christian McCaffrey. Del Rio scrambling. Del Rio gets hit and stopped. He will not get in, bringing up a 3rd and goal for the Valor Eagles.
If the Regis defense can get a stop on this next play, that would be huge.
That would be definitely huge, but it would also call into question, what do you do if you're Valor? Your kicker's already missed one. You're in bad kicking conditions. This definitely could be 4-down territory, especially this close to the goal line.
I think it is, Steven, especially both offenses struggling to put points on the board.
So Valor taking another unusually long time in the huddle It looks like they're going to have to call a timeout, and indeed they will. That'll be their second timeout of the half. 1 remaining. The Raiders have 2 remaining. 10:42 to go in this second quarter. And, Nick, what did you see that you liked from both teams in the first quarter?
I really like how the Raiders' defense played. They held Valor, which is a very, very good offense with a lot of weapons, and they held them off the board.
It's true indeed. I think what I liked from the Eagles in the first quarter is keeping their composure after they definitely could have easily given away their composure and their momentum after that fumble. Regis didn't get any points off it, but seemed to have the momentum, and then they just managed to get their drive back, give it back, and all of a sudden they have an option to score first on the Raiders. And shout out to Jordan Jungers and Kyle Truck Sarazin, who showed up for today's game. Alumni, played on last year's team. Del Rio under center, 2 men in the backfield, 1 man out wide. Polson in motion. And it'll be a handoff to Christian McCaffrey. And it appears Christian is stopped at the line. They will not get in. So looks like we will have a 4th and 1 situation. 4th and goal from the 1.
What a defensive stand by the Raiders. 3 stops inside the 5-yard line.
Indeed. 3 stops inside the 3-yard line, actually, which is absolutely shocking. So we will see. Wow, huge play here. Del Rio under center. 2 men out wide. 2 men in the backfield. Hand off to Christian McCaffrey. He is met, and he is stopped. They will not get in. Regis with an absolutely gigantic defensive stance.
That is a huge momentum swing for the Raiders right there.
And if you're the Valor Eagles, what are you thinking right now, Nick?
I don't know. I just think they're frustrated about their play calling, and I just think they're overall frustrated that they can't put any points on the board on this tough Raider defense.
And the momentum in this game completely shifts because if you look where they were trying to score, they were marching. They were about 20 yards away from the Valor student section. The Valor offense was looking at the Valor student section. So it wasn't even the Regis students maybe distracting them or getting loud because they're all at the other end of the field. So see here, Hotelling under center, 1 man back, 3 men out wide. Hotelling drops back to pass, throws, looks for Robert Orban on a quick crossing West Coast route, who will pick up 15 yards and dig the Raiders out. We'll have a 1st and 10 from the Raiders' own 15.
That breathing room is crucial to get out of that 1-inch line that the Raiders' starting position was.
So we will see here, Hotelling under center. Shout out to Danny Fannensteel, another member of last year's team, here to support the Raiders. Snap by Hotelling. Pitches it back to Jalen Williams, and there's a flag on the field. I believe that's going to be holding and coming back for the Raiders, Nick.
Yeah, penalties can kill the momentum of an offense.
And they really do. That will be holding on the offense. Shout out to all of our 98 viewers out there tuning in. First and appears to be 20 for the Raiders, depending on where the hold occurred. Holding is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So Raiders will be working from their own 6-yard line with a 1st and 20. See if the Raiders can rebound. Really unfortunate after that great pass to Robert Orban. First and 22. The holding occurred 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So from their 4-yard line, the Raiders will be starting. Sun's starting to creep out. We'll see here if that can give inspiration to either team.
Yeah, I think the stoppage of the snow will help both teams because a wet field is never fun when you're trying to make cuts. And
Matt Hotelling rolls out, throws it away. Absolutely poor throw, just trying to get it away from himself. and into the hands of someone else. It'll be 2nd and 22 from the Raiders' own 4. 9:23 remaining in the second quarter of play. And if you're Coach Nolan, what are you thinking of calling here?
I think we're gonna see a short slant pass play like we saw to Robert Orban.
And we'll see here. Hotelling rolls out and intercepted on the 1-yard line. Valor runs it in. Absolutely pitiful throw from Matt Hotelling and just kind of tossed it up, gave it right to the Valor lineman on the interception. And that will be intercepted for a Valor Eagles touchdown. I didn't get did you get the number of the player on that interception? And that was number 61 for the Eagles. Nick Regali, the junior defensive end, able to pick it off and run it in for Valor. That's really unfortunate, Nick.
That really is a terrible recognition of the pass.
Of the pass rush, indeed. And we'll see here the PAT for Valor is up, and it is good. So Valor now leading the Raiders 7-0 with 9:18 remaining in the second quarter. We'll take a quick break and see you back in a sec. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lou Kellogg Stadium for the second-round playoff matchup between your Regis Jesuit Raiders and the Valor Christian Eagles. Valor kicking off after a 3-yard interception touchdown return by Regali for the Eagles. So Shane Moody back to return. And the kick. Shane Moody able to catch it around the 2. Cuts back, finds a lane, and gets out to about the 30, but there is some laundry on the field. We'll see if this one is coming back. There is the very rare kicking team penalty, but I don't think that's it. Assess the call. Block in the back on the Raiders. So that will come back. That might come back 15 yards. I know that's what it is in college, which would absolutely destroy the Raiders' momentum. Raiders, a very good team at killing all momentum with an easy penalty.
Absolutely. That's been their Achilles heel all year long.
So we will see here where it's spotted. Yes, it is a 15-yard penalty, so it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 12 with 9:11 remaining in the second quarter. If you're the Raiders here, I think you maybe come out and go deep with one.
Absolutely. You need a big momentum changer in this situation because the momentum is swinging toward the Valor Eagles.
2 receivers out wide, 1 in the backfield for the Raiders, 2 tight ends. The snap is a pitch to Trevor Williams. Trevor trying to get around sideline and slips, and I believe he picks up 1 yard.
Yeah. The field conditions are going to be very key throughout the rest of this game. Even though the weather has stopped snowing, snow was snowing pretty hard earlier, and the field is still wet.
So a shout-out to Drake Thinnell, Matt Maselli, Dude Jones, Jake Jarman, all showing up here to support their Raiders. And another interception by Matt Hotelling. Thrown across the middle looking for Robert Orban. Intercepted by number 26, Justin Falls, the linebacker. Matt Hotelling is not throwing an interception to a cornerback or a safety, a secondary player yet. He's throwing it to a defensive end and a linebacker. Really unfortunate there for the Raiders.
It really is a terrible decision by Matt Hotelling. Robert Orban was double covered.
So, wow, very poor decision by Matt Hotelling. Valor takes over on the Regis 25. Del Rio under center. 1 man in the backfield. Trips out left. Taking a lot of time again. Oh, quick screen here to number 6 for Valor. And Raiders' poor tackling are going to allow him to get 8 on that very simple, well-read screen. The Raiders had it read and just couldn't tackle.
Yeah, the Raiders had that play snuffed out, but just very poor tackling.
So 2nd and 2 here. The snap, and that'll be another Wildcat by Christian McCaffrey, who's going to pick up another 7 on that and bring the ball all the way down to the Regis Jesuit 11-yard line for a 1st and 10.
That formation for Valor so far has been very successful, gaining at least 5, maybe 10 yards on each time they run it.
Raiders have to be conscious to make a big stop here because Valor does get the ball in the second half. Under 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Another quick snap to Christian McCaffrey. And Christian will be stopped for a gain of no yards. Valor starting to favor this Wildcat set because it's given them a lot of options. He almost handed it off to Daryl Hawkins there.
Yeah, just that threat of both running backs being so dominant and so good so far early in this game has created that weapon for the Valor offense.
So we will see here. Valor does. Del Rio finally back out on the field. 2 men in the backfield, McCaffrey and Hawkins. Motion by Polson. That'll be an option pitch to Christian McCaffrey. And Christian absolutely making the Raider defense look foolish, tiptoeing and juking his way into the end zone for an 11-yard touchdown run, putting the Eagles up 13-0.
Very poor defense by the Raiders. Very poor tackling.
And we've seen that all year. The Raiders having trouble with just getting low in fundamental tackling. So Raiders, I think if you come out here, you need to bounce back with a big play and a big score going into halftime. If you go down to halftime more than 14, you're pretty much done. The winner of this game goes on to play Arapahoe, who defeated Horizon last night 17-14. But I think the talk of the high school football world right now is that Thunder Ridge Cherry Creek game going into 2 overtimes. Thunder Ridge calling a 2-point conversion in the second overtime, getting it and beating Cherry Creek 57-56.
That was a great game by Thunder Ridge to eke that one out in the double overtime.
So we'll see here. PAT for Valor is up, and it is good. So Valor now leads 14-0, and we'll be back in a quick moment for the kickoff. And here we go. The kickoff be from the 25. I believe Valor had a personal foul, so moving the ball back 10 yards from the original kickoff spot. This will give Shane Moody a great chance to return. 7:04 remaining here at Lou Kellogg Stadium as the Valor Christian Eagles lead your Regis Jesuit Raiders 14-0 off an interception return and a quick run fielded by Shane Moody around the 20, but he muffs it. He manages to pick it up, and he will bounce around the outside, finding some space and dances his way for 12 yards. Great return there by Shane Moody, but I think he was running too much laterally, and my thing is you have to run north and south to gain yards, Nick.
Very true. You don't gain yards by running from sideline to sideline.
So, Raiders shaking offense coming out here after that showing. I imagine we'll see a lot more running, and Valor's putting their money on that, putting 7 in the box. Pitch to Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams picking up absolutely nada. In fact, I believe he lost a yard there. Bring us to 2nd and 11 from the Raiders' own 33. So, if you're the Raiders, what do you do, Nick?
The Valor defensive line is just stuffing the Raiders' running game, and they're forcing Matt Hotelling to throw, and obviously so far that has not turned out very well, throwing 2 interceptions.
Hotelling rolls out, looks for the throw, and intercepted again. This time by number 7 for the Eagles, Levi Waddle. And he switches field. He's still going, and now Valor down around the Regis Jesuit 20. Ouch. I don't think the Raiders have an ounce of momentum at this point in time.
That was a very, very costly interception.
Wow, and really poor throw by Matt Hotelling.
Terrible decision. Behind the receiver, gave looks like the linebacker maybe, the chance to come up behind that and pick that off.
And actually, interesting stat, Matt Hotelling has now thrown an interception to all 3 levels of Valor's defense, a lineman, a linebacker, and a secondary. So, and that has all occurred within the last 4 minutes. So, throw out wide to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey says, get off me, and picks up 12, 7 of those coming after the first hit.
The ability to run after initial contact is just a great ability of Christian McCaffrey.
So that'll be 2nd and 1 for Valor. He will not pick up the first down. So Del Rio under center, 2 men in the backfield, 2 receivers out wide. Del Rio with the snap. Fakes the handoff to Hawkins. Looks for McCaffrey, who catches it and gets hit. But McCaffrey will pick up the first down there, getting down to the Regis Jesuit 10-yard line.
The Regis defense needs to make a stand like they did a couple drives ago.
So Regis Jesuit has already turned the ball over 4 times in 18 minutes of play here. Valor turning the ball over once. But Valor 14 points off those turnovers. Regis Jesuit, obviously nothing, as the scoreboard reads nothing. So we'll see here what Valor does. Del Rio in the shotgun. Hawkins and McCaffrey in the backfield with him. Snaps, looks for the throw, steps up, tosses the back of the end zone for Polson, way overshoots the end zone. So that'll be 2nd and goal for the Eagles from the Regis Jesuit 10. Nick, if you're the Eagles going into halftime here, what do you tell your players?
I would tell them to just keep doing what they're doing on defense. Their defense has shut down the Raiders in the second quarter, forcing 4 turnovers.
So shout out to our 103 viewers out there. Del Rio under center. 2 men in the backfield, man in motion. He hands it off to Christian McCaffrey on the end around, and Christian says, I'm not going to go down. Takes it all the way to the Regis Jesuit 4-yard line, and that'll be 3rd and goal from the 4.
Very poor tackling by the Raiders there.
And we will see here if the Raiders can make another big stop like they did on Valor's first attempt at a scoring drive. Del Rio in the shotgun. 1 man behind him in a pistol. 2 men out wide. Fakes the handoff. Rolls out. Looks for Hawkins. And Hawkins will be stopped. Hawkins kept running, which means his forward progress looks like it'll be marked back at the 5. So Valor actually losing a yard. And, wow, very interesting. You know what's been working for the Eagles all day, Nick, is they fake a handoff and just let the running back keep running and then just throw it to him about 7 yards later.
Yeah, they've run that play a couple times, being successful almost every single time.
So Valor looking to attempt a field goal. Number 84 for Valor, Brandon Spencer, is 0 for 1 today. And the kick from about 25 yards is good. So with that kick right there, that was actually official distance 26 yards. So Valor will go up 17-0, and we'll be back after a quick break here from Lou Kellogg. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to today's second-round playoff matchup at Lou Kellogg Stadium between the Valor Christian Eagles and your very own Regis Jesuit Raiders. Valor coming off a 26-yard field goal, now leading the Raiders 17-0. And the kick will be fielded by Shane Moody around the 15. Shane beats one tackler, beats another, and gets out to the 32. There is a bright spot there, Nick. Shane Moody's been returning the ball very well.
Absolutely. He's given the Raiders decent field position. The Raiders need to capitalize on that with their offense.
So, Raiders coming out. If you're Coach Nolan, what offensive play do you call? They've stopped your run, they've stopped your pitch, and Matt Hotelling has now thrown 3 consecutive interceptions.
It's a tough spot, but I think they got to keep doing what their base offense is and just trying to establish a running game, either if that's on a pitch or up the middle.
Throw out to John Schmidt. Can't hang on. That'll now be 2nd and 10 from the Raiders' own 31, 4:11 remaining in this second quarter of play.
The ball has to be caught by John Schmidt, in my opinion. You got to help your quarterback out, especially when he's down like Matt Hotelling is right now.
So, shout out to the Valor broadcasting team broadcasting this game today. Oh, Matt Hotelling. I believe number 71, Sion Mau just ate Matt Hotelling. He got him so much. And if you're Coach Nolan, do you make the switch to Zach Heath yet?
I don't think yet. If it's going to come, I think it's going to come at the beginning of next half.
So here we go. 3rd and 17 from their own 25. Raiders. And that will be a timeout, Regis Jesuit.
The Raiders need to do something to get their offense moving. They've just been stopped on throwing the ball and running the ball, they really need to get something going.
So, interesting here what the play call will be for Coach Nolan. Do you risk throwing it again with Matt Hotelling, or do you run it, punt it, and hope your defense can take a 17-point deficit into halftime?
I think you have to throw the ball in this situation because that Valor offense is just eating up the Raider defense right now.
Indeed. 3:35 left in the first half of play. Hotelling still in the game. Trevor Williams in the backfield. 2 men out wide. Hotelling with the snap. Fakes the handoff. Rolls out. Looks for the throw. Great defense there by number 22, but there are several flags, so I believe this will be a pass interference on Valor Christian and give the Raiders new life. And I think that's gonna be the story of this game, Nick, is that Valor is going to have to beat themselves.
Yes, I think so. The Raiders need a couple breaks and mistakes by the Valor defense to just get some momentum on their side, to put some points on the board.
That will be pass interference against Valor. In high school, that is a 15-yard penalty, so I still believe the Raiders will have a 3rd and 2. I do not believe that gives them an automatic, and it does give them an automatic first down, actually. So, 3:29 left. Raiders still got a long way to go. I don't know if their clock management can get them down there that quick to the end zone.
Using the clock efficiently isn't normally the Raiders' type of game, so let's see what they can do here.
Matt Hotaling under center. One man in the backfield. Trips out to the right. Looks like setting up Eagle. It'll be a screen pass that was read perfectly, and that'll actually be a fumble. No, it'll be an incomplete pass. All right, if that was a fumble, the Raiders would have a second and incredibly long. So, Nick, what can the Raiders do? They just look like they're at a standstill.
You can see it in the body language of some of these players. They just look defeated.
Indeed, they do. 2 in the backfield, 1 man out wide, 1 tight end. Motion. Hotaling hands it off to Jacob Van Loo, who will pick up 3 and make it 3rd and 7 for the Raiders from their own 43. 3:05 left in this first half.
Let's see. I wonder what the play call will be here. I think the Raiders, we'll see a running play here.
So Hotaling actually drops back to throw and tries to run. Doesn't get it. If you're the Raiders, do you go for it here, Nick?
I think you have to. With the momentum your offense is going, you need to take some risks to try to get some momentum back on your side.
Indeed. So, 4th and 4 yards to go. Matt Hotaling taking instructions from the sideline. Trevor Williams in the backfield, along with number 17, A.J. Shaw, and number 4, John Schmidt, trying to work out the play. And it looks like they're going to have to take a timeout to get their ducks in a row here. If you're Coach Nolan, what do you say to your team in the locker room, Nick?
I think just be aggressive and just play hard. Just simple as that. Because they just look defeated. They just got to keep their heads up and just keep fighting.
And, wow. Matt Hotaling, really, he was looking so great the last couple of weeks.
He's shown a lot of improvement, even though at the beginning of the season he started out so raw, but I think he's coming to his own up until this point.
So, Regis Jesuit taking a lot of time, using up all of this time out to figure out what they want to do. Coming out with a punt formation, so they will punt. Sebastian Harris back to punt. 4th and 4, 2 minutes, 9 seconds left in this first half. Sebastian gets the boot off. Christian McCaffrey will catch for the return. Christian absolutely hauling, and that'll make the Sebastian's punt 25 yards long after that 17-yard return by Christian. And Christian, just the absolute athlete, phenomenal.
He's so much athletic ability. The Raiders special teams is just shaking, falling off of him. He's just bouncing off everyone.
So, Valor defense, Del Rio under center, drops back to throw. Hands it off. Delayed handoff to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey running all over the Raider defense, gaining 12 yards. And how do you stop him, Nick?
You just have to be at that first hit contact. You just got to bring him down because he will eat you up all day if you don't tackle him off the first hit.
Indeed. So, Valor getting back into that slow clock movement they've been using all day. 1:51 left in the first half. Valor driving on their own 48. 1st and 10. Snap to Del Rio. Del Rio fakes the handoff. Throws deep. Finds a completely wide open Alex Ulmer. There was not a man within 10 yards of Ulmer in any direction.
That's just inexcusable. How could he go so unnoticed in that secondary?
I have no idea, and I think, how can the Raiders change their defensive scheme to stop this passing game? Because that's really what's eating them up.
Well, it looks like here they're only rushing 3.
So Del Rio back to pass. Del Rio throws, finds a wide open Polsum, and he's going to gain about 22. 1st down, and now Valor all the way. 3 consecutive 1st downs for the Eagles. Valor now inside the Raider 15. And Nick, so impressive. It took them 37 seconds to move the ball 53 yards for the Eagles on this drive. So run outside, unsuccessful, and that'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 14.
Their offense almost looks like the Oregon Ducks, just so they can score so quickly.
Really, really interesting comparison there, Nick, because the Oregon Ducks try to snap the ball as many times as they can, where Valor taking a lot of time today. Del Rio rolling out on the pass. Del Rio looking, Del Rio throwing, and not able to get there, but there is a flag on the play with 48 seconds remaining in this first half. So it'll be pass interference on the Raiders.
More penalties again, hurting and killing the Raiders.
So that'll bring us, I believe, to we'll see where this ends up moving, the chains. Half the distance to the goal, so that'll be 2nd and 3 from the 7-yard line. Oh, no, indeed, that will be a 1st down, so that'll be 1st and goal from the 7 for the Eagles. The Eagles looking to go up by 24 before the end of the half, 48 seconds remaining. Del Rio and shotgun. Hawkins next to him. Del Rio drops back. Del Rio looks for the throw, broken up by Shane Moody. Great pass defense there. One of the few times we've seen the Raiders secondary shine this game.
Absolutely. They've been struggling. Del Rio has been eating them up all day. Same with the running game to the outside as well.
So we will see here what Regis Jesuit can do to respond to this high-caliber Valor Eagles offense. Del Rio in the shotgun. McCaffrey next to him. 2 men in the backfield with Dawkins. Motion. Del Rio rolls out, looking for the throw. Del Rio throws. And they rule it a catch. Touchdown, Valor Eagles. Caught there by number 6, Alex Ulmer.
The second quarter has been disastrous for the Regis Jesuit team, basically. Their defense has struggled and their offense is even colder.
Fantastic catch there by Ulmer. And now 23-0. We will see if Valor can go up. The PAT is up, and it is good. And we'll be taking a quick break here from Luke Kellogg Stadium. The Valor Christian Eagles lead your Regis Jesuit Raiders 24-0. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to today's second-round playoff matchup here from Lou Kellogg Stadium, home of your Regis Jesuit Raiders, who are playing the Valor Christian Eagles. Valor having an absolutely lightning second quarter. First quarter ends 0-0, and next thing you know, in the blink of 12 minutes, Valor up 24-0. Kick deep. Shane Moody fields it at the 2. Shane having a great return day. Shane getting outside again. Shane getting it back. He's at the 40 and gets all the way to the 45-yard line. If you're the Raiders, do you try and take a shot here with 28 seconds to go?
Absolutely. Shane Moody just gave you a phenomenal return. You got to take advantage of that before half.
And you definitely do. Raiders getting in their huddle. Second half, Nick, do we see the Phantom quarterback? We've only seen him once this year. Do we see Zach Heath come in?
I think it depends on how this drive closing the first half goes right here.
Hoteling steps back, hands it off, delayed handoff to Trevor Williams. Trevor running gets the first down, which stops the clock momentarily until the ball is reset. First and 10 for the Raiders from the Valor 42-yard line. And we will see here, Hoteling under center, 3 men out wide, 1 man in the backfield. The snap, he drops back, rolls out, looking for the throw, finds Robert Orban on the sideline for 7 yards, and with 7 seconds remaining, Raiders 32 yards, 33 yards from the end zone. So, really interesting here. Do the Raiders, we'll probably see them bomb it deep here.
I mean, you would think they would bomb it deep here.
You never know, though. They could do a short pass and hope for a Vince Saban field goal, kicking very well today, but with these conditions, I don't think we'll see that. 2 in the backfield, 2 out wide. Matt Hoteling stops, looking deep. Oh! And that'll be a pass interference with 2 seconds remaining. John Schmidt absolutely getting taken out on the way to the ball, and that will be 15 yards. So now if you're the Raiders, Nick, that puts you on the 19-yard line. Do you kick a field goal?
I think it's a tough decision. But I think you got to get some points on the board, is my opinion. You got to give that little bit of momentum, little bit of hope going into the second half.
So we'll see here. And indeed, Vince Saban is coming out for the kick attempt from the 19. This will be a 36-yard field goal, similar distance that was missed from by the Valor Eagles earlier this game. So, very interesting. See if the Raiders can put some points on the board here. 2 seconds remaining in this first half of play. And the snap. And the kick is up. And it is good. So at the end of the first half, Vince Saban sinks it. And your final tally for the first half, the Valor Christian Eagles 24, your Regis Jesuit Raiders 3. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll have Andrew Reel and Joe Quigley for your Raider recap.
Ole, ole, Regis Raider faithful. Welcome to another installation of the Raider Recap with your boys. Andrew Reel, Joe Quigley, got Frank producing. Gonna be a good one.
What do you make of this game right now, Andrew?
Well, if you're a Regis Raider fan right now, you're not too happy with that second quarter. But the good news is they put a drive together at the very end going into halftime, got some points on the board, going to go into halftime with a little bit of momentum. Hopefully we can come out in the second half and shock the world.
You know, we played incredibly well that first quarter. Deadlock 0-0 first quarter. End of the second quarter, it's now a whopping 24-3. Good thing football's a game of 4 quarters and not 2, so we got an entire half left to make things happen.
We do have an entire half to make things happen. What people have to remember is that this is high school football. I mean, it's amateur athletics at its greatest. So, I mean, it's not like you're playing the Chicago Bears out there. You're playing kids the same age. They can make things happen. They can get this second half rolling.
Speaking of the Chicago Bears, Andrew Reel, watching this Valor backfield in Christian McCaffrey and Daryl Hawkins, they're running as if they're just one collective Walter Payton. Just running over the line, running through the line, just running wherever they want, just getting all kinds of yards.
You know, that's true. They are running great, but I got to give mad props to this Regis defense right now, because with the positions that they've been getting put into, they are performing great in my opinion right now.
Yes, they are. And just quick stat update. Valor has 102 passing yards, 130 rushing yards, and Regis Jesuit has 35 rushing yards and 56 passing yards.
Yeah, Valor's just been getting those stats this second quarter, but you know, I believe in the Raiders. I believe they can come out. I believe they can make things happen, and like you said, it's a game of 2 halves, not a game of 1. So we'll see what happens.
Interesting fact, going in all the games Valor has won this year, they have been up by at least 40 points at the end of the game. So they're not much of a second half, fourth quarter team. They're used to having a huge lead to sit on to going into that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they haven't really played much competition since those first 2 weeks of the year against Moan and Bingham. So we're definitely probably their stiffest competition yet this year. And I think if we can play the next 2 quarters like we played that first, that we can really make things tough for them.
The Raiders just need to get the ball into the end zone. They keep marching down the field and then turning it over. Raiders have 4 turnovers to the Valor 1 turnover. And 4 of those turnovers have been 3 interceptions from Matt Hotelin. Interesting fact about those interceptions, it has gone to all 3 levels of the defense, a defensive line, a linebacker, and a defensive back.
Yeah, that Valor defense right now is just getting interceptions left and right. So I think Matt Hotelin just needs to calm down, just stay collected. This is a big stage for him to be in there at. And I think he's just got to focus up, do his best, and he'll get things done.
I've also noticed that Grant Neal fully dressed and warming up with the team, but he's been on the sideline the entire game. You think we're going to see him at all during the second half?
You know, Joe, that's a tough call to make, because if the Regis Raiders do win this game, you're going to want those guys rested for your next game. You don't want any chance at those guys getting hurt if there's any possibility of going deeper into the playoffs. But with the way the scoreboard's looking right now, I would love to see him and Shukuma warming up on the sidelines, getting in, getting some action, and seeing some minutes.
Absolutely. They are just absolute trains of running backs, the both of them. I'd love to see him go in there.
I think we'd all love to see him go in there, Joe. I think we all would.
And special shout out to our student section braving this miserable weather. We got the Rowdies in full force and the students out here supporting their ever faithful Regis Jesuit Raiders.
And that atmosphere, win or lose, rain or shine, is always great in that student section. It's something great to see, and I hope it keeps up long after our classes leave.
I feel like it's been there even before our time. Even before we got here, that student section has been rain or shine, snow or hail, anything really. They're 100% of the time doing their best to cheer on their team.
You know, Joe, they are, and I'd love to see that go into the future, because they just bring an energy to these games that's so fun and makes the environment so great for not just all the fans out here, but for the players, for people who aren't affiliated with Regis who come and watch these schools. It's pretty cool to see high school kids get into these games like our fans do.
And it's especially cool for the players. I remember last year being on JV football for varsity camp week for the first round of the playoffs, walking out for that first round playoff game with the bagpipes under the Friday night lights, the student section going absolutely wild. It's one of the best feelings in the world.
And, you know, nothing's better. I mean, these varsity games are great, but nothing is better than the atmosphere of a Regis versus Valor game, a friendly, good rivalry. Great to see everybody out here enjoying the rivalry. So hopefully we see that in the second half.
And I really want to see that West Coast pass offense in the second half. It worked in the first quarter, fell apart in the second. I want to see it again. I want to see it succeed. The Raiders have the potential. I'd love to see it happen.
They do, especially with Alex Mitchell in there, who's just these last 2 weeks turned into quite the receiver. I think maybe they need to get some more screens out to him, stop running so many pitches and dives, and open up this offense a little bit and quit playing so conservatively. I mean, if Matt's already thrown 3 interceptions at this point, he should just go out there with all the confidence in the world, knowing that he can only go up from here and just go out there, open it up, no pressure.
And Matt's 2 favorite receivers, Robert Oren and Alex Mitchell, both seniors. You think they're sitting in the locker room realizing that this could very well be the last game of their high school career? Do you think they're going to come out and turn it on in the second half?
I think they are, and I think that's definitely a hard thought for a senior to come to grasp, is that it may, in fact, be their last game. So I'm sure they're in there rallying the team up, boosting morale, getting the troops together, getting ready to come out for the second half.
What do you think Coach Nolan has to say to his Raiders right now?
I think he's just going to have to tell them to stay calm, stay collected, get out there, stop, don't worry so much, just throw your passes, just do what you've been coached to do. He needs to open up the playbook a little bit. I think that's what he's saying right about now.
I spent the week talking to a lot of the players on this team, and they said that they definitely had the opportunity, and they still do, to beat this Valor Eagle team. All they had to do was not give up big plays, not turn over the ball, and execute their offense. And so far in the first half, they did all three. In the first quarter, they did all 3 of those things. The second quarter, they did not, and we see what happened.
Yeah, but like you say, Joe, we just got to keep saying it. It's a game of 2 halves. It's a game of multiple quarters, and they should come out there, and I think they'll do good. I think they will.
And here's to hoping the Raiders pull this game out. My name's Joe Quigley, along with Andrew Reel. Thanks for tuning in to the Raider Recap.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. It's been a pleasure.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lou Kellogg Stadium, the home of your very own Regis Jesuit Raiders, who are duking it out with the Valor Christian Eagles here in this second-round playoff match of Steven Snyder here, my producer Joe Quigley, my cameraman Colin Stover, my stats man Tyler Ballinger, and my color commentator Nick Valeni. So, Nick, during the half, actually, I was thinking about it, and I was just thinking back on the half, and I went over to the snack stand, got a bag of chips, and I realized that the game was like that bag of chips, and the Raiders just need to open it up, and they just need to let it go. And because, I mean, you might as well go for broke. Hoteling's throwing 3 picks. I think you just need to transition into a passing air raid and just open up the offense. So, really interesting. What did you see in the first half that you liked and didn't like?
Well, first of all, about your revelation, I thought you're exactly right. I mean, Regis has nothing to lose at this point. I just open up the playbook, run maybe even some trick plays, and just see what happens.
And as far as the Eagles' play went in the first half, what did you see any place they could really improve?
I thought they played a very well overall rounded game in that first half. They ran the ball well. They passed the ball well. They played good defense. And their secondary played great, picking off Matt Hoteling from all 3 levels of defense, their D lineman, their linebacker, and their secondary. I think a big key to the second half for the Raiders is just to try to swing that momentum back in their direction if they're going to have any chance to come back in this game.
I completely agree with you, Nick. Momentum needs to be swung here. Valor holding a lot of it right now, and they will be receiving the ball. May I remind you in this second half. So Raider defense has to make a big stop. I think the thing that will get the Raiders back in this game as quickly as possible is a defensive touchdown. Maybe a pick or a fumble returned, or at least returned a long ways to get into the head of the Eagles and give themselves a good chance. So really interesting here, but we'll see how this progresses as play goes on. And before the kickoff, actually, team's still warming up. We're just going to take a 30-second break, and we'll be back for your second half kickoff. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lou Kellogg Stadium, home of your Regis Jesuit Raiders here, playing the Valor Christian Eagles in the second round playoff matchup. Hope you enjoyed your Raider recap from Andrew Reel and Joe Quigley. Absolutely, it provides such great insights to the game. And as the Raiders step up, Vince Saban to kick off for the Raiders, being returned by Christian McCaffrey and Alex Ulmer. The kick by Vince Saban will be a squib kick, caught by Valor on the second row, and he will be stopped around the 32. So, big expectations coming to this game for both teams. Valor really stepped up and performed that first half, Nick.
I think they really did. It's almost like a switch just flipped when that second quarter started because it was deadlocked at the end of that first quarter.
It was. Regis defense has been playing well all night, I really think. I don't think the Valor offense has really beaten them because the field position they've been getting has been absolutely fantastic. Handoff to Hawkins around the outside. Hawkins still on his feet. Great tackle there by Shane Moody to take him down, but after an entire 8-yard gain.
Very impressive run by Darrell Hawkins right there.
So Valor coming back out, 2nd and 3. See here, Del Rio coming out under center. Hawkins in the backfield. 2 receivers out wide. 1 tight end. McCaffrey in motion. That'll be a handoff to Hawkins right up the middle. Hawkins trucking through, saying, "You can't tackle me," and it takes 4 Regis defenders to bring him down. Nick, is there anything the Raiders can do at this point?
They just got to buckle down and what we talked about earlier, just tackling. They got to excuse me. They got to use their fundamental tackling.
So sorry about that.
My bad, folks.
Del Rio in the backfield. Hawkins and McCaffrey behind him. Del Rio fakes the handoff, throws, and they will get there. I believe this is going to be holding on the Eagles, but we will see. Michael Gunther getting to Del Rio, and Del Rio able to get that pass off for a gain of 5. And the call is holding on the Valor Eagles indeed. So it appears it will be 1st and 25. And Nick, what'd you think of that last play now that you're composed?
Well, penalties again being crucial in this game for both sides.
Indeed they have. So it's going to be really, I think penalties have almost played a bigger role than turnovers in some ways in this game. Because turnovers, of course, they've helped scoring, but these penalties have killed complete drives for both teams.
Absolutely.
So 1st and 23. The snap, Del Rio in the shotgun. Del Rio steps, looks, finds Christian McCaffrey, who is taken down. I thought Ray grabbed his face mask, but there is no flag on the field. Regis might have gotten away with one on that one. And it looks like we will have a 2nd and 21 after that 2-yard gain by Christian from the Eagles' own 36. So, Eagles coming out, seeing if they can make something happen on 2nd and 22. Del Rio under center. McCaffrey in the backfield. 3 receivers out wide. Handoff to McCaffrey. McCaffrey up the middle. McCaffrey still going. And McCaffrey able to pick up 14 actually on that simple inside handoff, and that'll give the Eagles a manageable 3rd and 8.
McCaffrey just makes it look so easy. It's just smooth like butter.
And indeed, Del Rio in the shotgun, 1 man in the backfield. Trips out to the right. Offset receivers. 1 up top. And that'll be a false start on Valor because 74 backed up with him. That number 74 for the Eagles, Isaiah Holland, going to back him up again. So Valor now facing themselves with a 3rd and 13, 20 yards of penalties on this series alone. So
penalties again being a crucial part in both these teams.
Del Rio takes the snap, looks, Del Rio escapes, throws, finds Polson. Polson at the 30, gets down to the 25-yard line, and just when the Raiders thought they could stop somebody, Valor says, "No, you can't." So, Nick, is there anything left for the Raiders here?
I personally don't think so. Their defense is just getting picked apart by Del Rio here.
And that'll be an outside handoff. And they will go the 10, the 5, touchdown. Valor Eagles is, I believe, the call. We will see. And yes, it is a touchdown. That just a quick little play to Alex Ulmer, and that'll put the Eagles up 30-3 here with 9 minutes remaining in the second half. And number 84 for the Eagles, Brandon Spencer coming out to see if he can make that 31-3.
Very well-designed play by the Eagles there. Looks like that handoff to the receiver. We have a muffed snap, and he will not convert.
So, Eagles, unfortunate, bad play there, but it's coming at the right time. Only losing out on 1 point there. So, our score with 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter of play. Valor Christian Eagles 30, Regis 3. We'll take a quick break and see you back here in a second. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lou Kellogg Stadium, where your Regis Jesuit Raiders are hosting the Valor Christian Eagles in the second-round playoff matchup. Valor coming off a touchdown with a unconverted PAT. And Shane Moody slips and muffs it. Shane Moody can't find the ball, but he ends up picking it up. And he's going to get tackled around the 5-yard line. Shane Moody slipped before the ball got to him. So there is nothing going right for the Regis Jesuit Raiders. It's kind of like Tom Chaney in that novel True Grit in the end when nothing is going right for him. So, sorry, letting a film reference there. Hotaling under center, 2 back set, 2 receivers out wide. Hotaling rolls out. Looking to throw. Hotaling is going to keep it. Hotaling picking up the first down on his feet.
Impressive scramble by Matt to get out of bounds as well. He's taking some shots when he tries to cut upfield to gain some extra yards.
So, great play indeed. And the Raiders looking to breathe a little new life. 1st and 10 from their 21-yard line. Or no, that'll be 2nd and 1 from their 21. Man in motion, handed off to John Schmidt. John Schmidt gets the end around, flips over Christian McCaffrey. And we will see if that gave him enough for the first down. Christian looked like he had a beat on him, and then John Schmidt flipped over him. And he will gain nothing on that play, actually, so it'll be 3rd and 1.
Can't say I've seen someone flip like that in a while. But
kind of like that commercial. Hello. You know that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
AT&T, yeah.
Good ad right there.
So, Hotaling under center, 1 man in the backfield, 2 men in the backfield, excuse me. And Raiders hand it off to Jalen Williams, who breaks a couple of tackles but can't quite get the space he needs. He will get a first down. So Raiders convert, and that'll be a 1st and 10 from their own 24. 7:54 remaining in this third quarter of play. 1 man in the backfield, 1 drop tight end, 1 receiver out wide, 2 receivers out right. DeJour Elliott in motion. He will hand it off, and the Regis running back, Trevor Williams, absolutely stuffed for where he stood. So that'll bring it back a yard, and so shout out to all our viewers out there. Comment with where you're from on our page, and we'll get you a shout out on the air if we can. Hotaling under center. 2nd and 10. 1 back. Hotaling drops back. Looks for the throw to Alex Mitchell. Alex Mitchell can't quite get there. Great defense. Alex Mitchell double covered. I'm pretty sure both Valor players touched that, and Alex did not. So Valor having a lot of Ironmen, 2-sided players. Kind of like Grant Neal for Regis when he was healthy. He is dressed today, but he is not playing. So
A little surprising we haven't seen him yet because he was working all week really hard to get back for this game.
Hotaling under center, one man in the backfield. Trips out to the right, one receiver out on the left. The snap. Hotaling drops back, looks for the throw, finds Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams gobbled up. There was a hand on the face mask, but I don't think Valor pulled on it. So Regis will be faced with a 4th and 10. And it looks like they'll be sending out their punt team.
Looks like when it rains, it pours for the Raiders. Nothing is going right at all.
So, punt here for the Raiders. Polson and McCaffrey back to return. Sebastian awkwardly poor punt. And that will be Sebastian's punt will net about 35, maybe 40 yards. That'll be 35 yards on the punt. So shout out to the Lineup family in Wyoming. That is Timmy Linett's family, aunt and uncle, I believe. We were speaking with the family before the game, so a shout out to them. Del Rio under center for Valor. One man in the backfield, hands it off to Hawkins. Hawkins juking, spinning, and Hawkins breaks free. The 30, the 20, and he will be pushed out around the 14-yard line. And just like that, Valor breaks off another 40-plus yard run, and they're right back up there for another scoring opportunity with only 6 minutes left in this third quarter.
Very impressive run right there by Hawkins, just making the Raider D just look foolish.
So, I think if you're the Raiders, you really got to think big now. There's not much opportunity left. You're down 4 possessions, no matter how you divvy it up. So, big chance here. Del Rio, 2 men in the backfield, 2 receivers out wide. Snaps it, hands off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey finds a small gap and gets his way to about the 10-yard line. And that'll be a 2nd and 5.
Look, here comes Valor back out of that long huddle as they've done many times so far today. Del Rio under center. Christian in motion. And Hawkins has a run. Did he get in? Oh, it looks like we have a flag on the play.
So we'll wait for the call.
Looks like holding on the offense here.
And that'll bring it back. So
looks like we'll have 2nd and 15.
So Valor Christian having a 2nd and 15 here from the Raiders 19. We'll see if the Raiders can stop them. Raiders defense has been great in the red zone all year, and we're in the first quarter here. But then there was a switch that flipped, and ever since second quarter, the Raiders really just haven't looked the same. Del Rio under center, 1 man in the backfield, 3 receivers on either side. Or out wide, excuse me. Fake handoff to Polson. Del Rio just kind of tossed it up and somehow finds Hawkins. And Hawkins stumbles down inside the 5 all the way to, I believe, the 2-yard line. That should have been intercepted. Del Rio just literally floated it up there.
That was a gift right there.
So, wow. Regis Jesuit not playing the caliber of football they have been lately. And we will see here what Valor does. Valor with a handoff to Hawkins up the middle, and Hawkins will trot in for the score. Now 36-0. Excuse me, 36-3. Sorry about that, folks. So really, I think the arrow might be sunk for the Raiders tonight, Nick.
I think so. The chances of coming back in this one are very slim.
Especially the way they've been playing.
Yeah, their momentum has just been completely shot. The body language on the players is just defeated. You can see it on their faces, and their shoulder pads shrugging. It's not looking good for the Raiders.
So, after that PAT, good for Valor, 37-3. And we'll see here what. Oh, this is just a really tough game, Nick. Regis just having a lot of struggles.
It really is, but most of these are self-inflicted. We have 4 turnovers in the first half, unnecessary penalties. Raiders are just doing it to themselves.
So, Valor about to kick off to the Raiders, and there's really nothing more to say. Valor has absolutely dominated this game. Kudos to them for playing so well.
Shea Moody back to return.
Moody fielded at the 5, and he's going to cut outside. Moody getting outside and running, and it looks like he'll get to around the 27-yard line. And really, Moody, the lone bright spot in this Raiders play at all. Vince Saban also kicking very well today. So, really, Raiders having a rough day today, and Valor having a great day. I think if the weather would have kept up, it could have been a different story. Shout out to Joey Bonnell, part of our broadcast crew, is tuning in. So, Hotaling snaps, hands it off to Jalen Williams. Jalen gets outside and only able to get about 7, but great positive yardage. So, really interesting here. See what the Raiders will do if they try to attack deep and get back in this or not.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting the play calling for us of this game, if they're just going to kind of roll over and say, we've lost, or just attack and try to put some points on the board.
Indeed. So as we look forward to next week, Arapahoe playing the winner of this game, looking fairly strong, but I really think the winner of this game can easily take down Arapahoe based on how we've seen them playing. Nick, you got to fill in. So throw here by Hotaling. Robert Orban not able to catch that. And we will see if the Raiders go deep here, just try to pick up the first down. Really, Raiders not in a good spot, though, because with time winding down, only 4:33 left in this third quarter, you've got to get a move on soon.
Absolutely. Even though the chances of winning are pretty much over, you still got to get some positive momentum going into the offseason and something to look forward to after, even though there's been many struggles today.
So Hotaling under center, 2 men in the backfield, 1 receiver out wide. Hands it off up the middle to, let me see if I can get a number on this really quick, 27, Van Loo. So able to get some positive yardage, but I think it's too little too late, Nick.
I agree. Things not looking too good.
So breaking news, hold on. Man in motion for the Raiders, 2 men in the backfield. Fake handoff. Hotaling throws to Alex Mitchell, who catches it for a first down right around the 45-yard line. And breaking news from elsewhere, we know you guys, all you watching, are football heads. Texas A&M is leading out the number 1 Alabama Crimson Tide 20-7 in the second quarter.
How about that?
That is, wow, very shocking. And as we go through this, Hotelling under center, 2 men in the backfield, 2 men out up top. Fake handoff. Hotelling rolls out. Hotelling looks deep for Alex Mitchell, who catches it. They are saying that is not caught. They are saying that is incomplete. We will see the call, and that will be coming back. That will be ruled incomplete.
It's a very nice catch by Alex Mitchell, even though that was out of bounds. That was a beautiful throw and a beautiful catch, even though, unfortunately, that describes how the Raiders' day has been so far, just coming up short.
So as we look forward and into later tonight, a couple college football picks. Who do you have in the Mississippi State LSU SEC Titan matchup?
I'm going to say LSU. They're too strong. Their defense is too good. I don't think Mississippi State can get it done.
Meanwhile, DeJour Elliott bobbling and then dropping that pass as he got hit. Next, K-State TCU.
No, I'm picking TCU in an upset. I think TCU can just get it done. Calvin Klein was questionable with that game. It looks like he's going to play even though he was had an injury apparently. But I think TCU will get that win.
All right. Hotelling tosses it out almost threw that right to a Valor defender. Nowhere near his Regis receiver. And that'll bring up 4th down. I imagine this is 4-down territory, but clearly the punt team coming out. Wow. Really shocking right now that the Raiders would punt.
Blows my mind why they're punting in that situation, to be honest. You have absolutely nothing to lose at this point.
Sebastian's punt gets up, and that'll be down, and that'll get out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. So actually around the 8. So great punt by Sebastian Harris to corner the Valor offense. Now the Raiders just have to stop them from that 8-yard line, not let anything go. So Oregon, Cal.
I think that's going to be a blowout win for Oregon. Oregon's offense is just unstoppable.
Definitely. And then any other games you're watching out for?
Well, I'm personally a USC fan, so I think our Trojans will roll over Arizona State.
I don't know. Sun Devils looking pretty strong, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Motion for Valor. Del Rio hands it off to Hawkins. Hawkins breaks 2 tackles, breaks a 3rd tackle, breaks a 4th tackle, and able to pick up the 1st down on the ground there, getting all the way out to the 21. And he is absolutely destroying and shredding this Regis Jesuit defense.
I think he's been more of an impact, in my opinion, than Christian McCaffrey or even Luke Del Rio in this game. He's just almost put the team on his back and just ran all over the Raider defense.
He really has. So, man in motion, 2-man back for Del Rio. Del Rio fakes the handoff, and he's looking deep. Can't quite find Alex Ulmer. Really, wow. Alex Ulmer just gets by the defense, perfectly placed by Del Rio, and just right through the hands of Ulmer.
Great pass by Del Rio. That was very impressive.
It was indeed. Raiders counting themselves lucky that one didn't get through. 3:04 left in this 3rd quarter. The Valor Christian Eagles leading the Regis Jesuit Raiders 37-3. And Del Rio under center. 2 men in the backfield, 3 men out wide. Hands it off to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey bounced off 1 tackler, but then stopped in the backfield. They're going to be down for a loss of 2, 3rd and 12 for the Eagles. So, see here, Regis secondary not playing as bad as they have been throughout the season. Unfortunately, the opposite is for the D-line and linebackers who've been playing a lot worse than they have all season.
Absolutely. They're the Raider defensive line has been overmatched by this Valor offensive line. They're just getting pushed around, and especially in the running game.
So, wow, Christian McCaffrey getting outside, but he will step out of bounds about 2 yards from the sticks. So, 3rd and 2 from their own 29-yard line. 4th and 2, excuse me. So, I imagine Valor will punt here. I can't see them going for it, just for the sake of sportsmanship. But this is the weirdest formation ever. Why is Christian McCaffrey their punter too? Christian
I believe he
McCaffrey
has in
back.
the past.
Yes, and Christian McCaffrey is their punter. A fantastic punt. And muffed by Alex Mitchell. That ball is rolling around. And we'll see. It is still rolling around. We'll see who recovered it. And luckily, Regis Jesuit able to hop on that ball. Very scary moment. Alex Mitchell, not his first muff punt of the year. In fact, he's muffed several in the past couple of weeks.
I think that was Valor's first punt of the afternoon today.
So, is it time for Zach Heath yet?
I think so. You have nothing to lose at this point. I'd put Zach Heath in, get him maybe some experience.
O'Talon coming back out. One back set. Hand off to Jalen Williams, who picks up 8. So, I really think I wouldn't keep O'Talon in. I think it's time for Zach Heath here. He's waited all year to get in, and
He just needs an opportunity, I think.
I think
to show
so
what he
too.
can do.
He had that one opportunity where he threw an interception, but I really think that wasn't his fault. So
It's really hard to come off the bench cold anyway.
I thought that was holding up the receiver, Alex Mitchell, but there will be no flag. So 1.5 minutes left in this third quarter here at Lou Kellogg. I think the Raiders just need a deep pass. That's all I can really think of right now. Valor's got their run game shut down. They're putting 7 in the box consistently. And O'Talon drops the ball, and he'll just have to cover up, so that'll be 4th and 4. Do you go for it here?
I would not. They're too deep in their own territory.
And looks like Coach Nolan will agree with you and punt. I think there's absolutely nothing to lose at this point. I say you go for it every time. I say you play 4 and score football if you're the Raiders. But Sebastian Harris back to punt. So,
Another high
again.
snap.
And Sebastian misses it. And he will cover up, and Valor will take over on the 24-yard line after Sebastian completely missed that punt he was trying to kick. Wow.
Can't say I've ever seen someone do that.
So, shout out to Noah Utesh, visitor in the press box here for us. And here comes the Valor offense. Oof, the Raiders have to hate this sight. But Del Rio under center, 2 men in the backfield, 2 receivers out wide. Del Rio with the... Nope, he's going to take some more time. And now he snaps it. Hands it off to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey absolutely juking and schooling Regis defenders all the way down inside the 5-yard line to the 2-yard line. 22-yard run for McCaffrey. He says, what the hey, I'll give you another thing to put on your highlight reel. And literally watching this Valor offense is like watching a highlight reel, Nick.
It really is. There's so many playmakers on this offense.
So here we go. Del Rio under center. 2 men in the backfield, 2 receivers up top. Del Rio with the snap and the handoff to Hawkins, who is taken down, and he will not get in. 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. So picking up 1 there. And we'll see here. Valor's thinking. Regis has stopped them on the goal line before this game, so They've really got to draw something up. And that is the end of the third quarter. Valor Christian Eagles lead your Regis Jesuit Raiders 37-3. And we'll be back to start the fourth in a brief moment. And welcome back to Luke Kellogg Stadium, ladies and gentlemen, here for today's matchup between your Regis Jesuit Raiders and Valor Christian Eagles, 37-3 in favor of the Eagles. Now, Nick, we were talking during the break. We didn't realize the mercy rule could come into effect here because when a team is up by 40 points in high school football, the clock just starts running. Regardless of what happens, there is no clock stoppage.
Well, if the Regis's chances already haven't been diminished, that would hurt it even more.
And Hawkins gets into the end zone for a touchdown, and that makes it 43-3, and the mercy rule now in effect. The clock is running. Normally the clock would be stopped now, so it's bad to lose in the playoffs, but to be mercy ruled in the playoffs is just it's just terrible.
It is. It's almost an embarrassment because you work so hard to get here, and then it's just disappointing.
Domination on this magnitude is so rare that I have never actually seen the mercy rule go into effect outside of one freshman football game. That's the only time I've ever seen the mercy rule.
I can't say I have either.
So this is very rare domination like this, and the fact that it's coming around in the second round of the playoffs is very intense. Sarapo is going to have their hands full with the Valor Eagles next week. So, wow, that's just...
It really is.
It's a terrible way to end the season for the Regis Jesuit Raiders.
It is. Especially because they started playing much better towards the end of the season.
And Valor definitely going to get in there and mix it up with Arapahoe next week. The Regis Jesuit Raiders definitely a young team, Nick. Not many starting seniors, so they'll definitely have better next year. The receiving core might be the only thing that loses some significance. But the rest of the positions, all not seniors, so.
Oh, that's a very positive thing for the Raiders. There's a lot that can be improved on, and that will be improved on for next season.
So about exactly 10 minutes left until this game is over. So, and that is counting all plays and everything. I know some of you folks at home has heard me say 10 minutes and say, oh, we got another hour here. But this is actually 10 minutes due to the mercy rule. So, Hotaling still out there under center. Jalen Williams in the backfield, two receivers out wide. The handoff to Jalen. Jalen finds the outside and gets hit there. Gain of about 5. So, really brutal here. Jalen can't get anything going.
I don't understand why Zach Heath is not in there.
I'm asking the same self. I've been asking myself that for, I think Zach Heath should have come in mid-second quarter. I know you were saying start of the second half. So that's a long time. I don't know. Coaches have their reasons, though. All coaches have their reasons for doing their own thing.
They do.
So pitch to Jalen Williams. Jalen's going to pick up about 2 yards. So if you're the Raiders, I guess you try to just get a score here. Redeem yourself a little.
Yeah.
Play for honor.
Yeah, play for pride.
So Shout out to the Valor broadcasting crew down here at Lou Kellogg, broadcasting the game on their network. And thanks for all of you viewers who are maybe bipartisan and tuned into Regis. We'd love to have you, and we love, and we do it for you guys. So thank you for tuning in all season as well. So we've really loved it. You'll get to hear Nick Valeni next year on this football radio. It's great to have you here, Nick.
Thank you.
And Joe Quigley, our producer, and Colin Stover, our cameraman, will also be back next year. So football team is young, and so is the broadcasting crew. So a lot of potential. Big hit there. And fumbled. But it looks like the Raiders will recover.
It's like they ruled him down before the ball popped out.
Okay, that makes more sense. So we will see here. Shout
A
out
little
to
bit of trick play.
and that gets absolutely nowhere. So that will lose yards. But it's glad to see a lot of people. The Raiders at least giving it some effort at the end here with trickeration. Shout out to our athletic trainers. Dylan Campbell, our student athletic trainer, and then Miss Kubis and Miss Purdue, our athletic trainers. They do so much for these athletes. And then shout out to the football managers as well, who do so much behind the scenes. Sean Whitley, Jordy Bain, Henry Gray, and Nick Ting. So great to have you guys. Game's getting a little scrappy out there, Nick.
It is.
And you really hate to see that. You never like to see games get scrappy. High school sports are all about sportsmanship and just loving the game. And we normally see that. But these teams, despite all the animosity they may have for each other, have played a very clean and respectful game.
They have. There's a lot of temptation, I guess you could say, to be scrappy because these two schools are just bitter rivals. But it's been fairly clean so far.
So 6 minutes left in today's game. Eagles lead the Raiders 44-3. Fourth down for the Raiders, and Sebastian Harris will see the field again. He's seen the field quite a lot today.
Really don't know why they're punting here. I mean, I'd rather just run an extra play on offense, hopefully picking up that first down.
But Sebastian with a punt here. An awkward punt will get it away, and that'll be a net punt of 25 yards. 21. So really, Sebastian having a rough day today, Nick.
He is. I think when he got one of his kicks got blocked, that's just almost flipped a switch. He's been rattled ever since, just worried about the pressure coming.
Indeed, and that does make a lot of sense. Kicking is 50% mental, kicking or punting. So we're going to see Valor take the field again. Del Rio under center, McCaffrey, and no, it is not Del Rio. Fumbled.
Looks like it's A.J. Cecil, the quarterback now for the Valor Eagles.
So Cecil coming in, and it looks like the entire second Valor offense has come in. I don't see a single starter out there for Valor. So keeping their guys healthy, looking forward to next week. So we are now with 4:30 remaining in this fourth quarter and this ball game. Do you see? We're going to go into it a little early just because the clock is winding down so quickly. Who are your players of the game tonight for each team on each side of the ball, Nick?
My player of the game for Valor is Daryl Hawkins. He has been dominating the Raiders' D running the ball today. And for the Raiders, I'll have to say Alex Mitchell. He had a couple big catches early on when he's been thrown to, but that's probably the biggest bright spot for the Raiders today.
And do you have any defensive players of the game for us, Nick? Or?
I would have to say I honestly don't think of a great, outstanding defensive player today.
All right. For Valor, I'm going to agree with you with your offensive player of the game as Regis gets a sack there. I'm going to go with Daryl Hawkins, who absolutely lit it up today. As far as Regis goes, I'm only going to give one player the game award for Regis, and it is not going to be on offense or defense. It's going to be on special teams, Shane Moody, who did an absolutely fantastic job returning today, giving the Raiders great field position in situations where they might not have had it. On defense, I'm actually going to give the player of the game for Valor to number 61, Nick Regali, who got that scoring started with that interception against Matt Hotaling. And that score actually for Valor has become the winning score, as the Raiders have only scored 3 points. And there is a flag on the field.
I would agree with you there. That score by Nick Regali just changed the momentum of this game for the Valor Eagles to coast to an easy win.
So as we look at the clock, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And that'll be a penalty against Valor, so I believe Regis is going to have them re-punt. We'll see here. I believe that was... Did you get the call on that?
I did not.
I was holding, so Regis going to have them re-punt. Now down, tick, 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 to 2 minutes left in the Regis Jesuit Raiders season. And Valor just taking a little while to snap the ball. Good snap. 16 with the punt for Valor. That is Thomas. Nope, that's the Regis roster. That is Keith Heimbrock, the defensive back sophomore. Also a punter, because that was a fairly solid punt of about 30 yards. So, minute 24 remaining in the Raiders season. Hotaling going out again. I guess Coach Nolan's just going to let him finish this game, Nick.
I guess so. I guess he's going to let him finish what he started today.
So, and I respect that in certain ways, not throwing Zach out there and giving him inheriting a situation, saying, Matt, this was your game, and the result of it yours, a handoff for the Raiders, going to gain about a yard. But I can see where that could come in maybe.
Yeah, I agree, because he got them into this game. Might as well let him close it.
Yeah, so we'll see next year as both quarterbacks are going to be here. We'll see how the situation plays out. We're now inside 30 seconds left. Any last thoughts on today's game, Nick?
On this game today, I was really surprised by how Valor just turned the switch and just dominated the second quarter on.
And indeed, I was surprised. I think, and as we tick down, we're inside 10 seconds. We'll see if Regis decides to snap another play. And they will not. They will just head over to the sidelines for the end of this game. Your final score here now from Lou Kellogg Stadium. Your Regis Jesuit Raiders 3, the Valor Christian Eagles 44. Signing off for Nick Valenti, my color commentator, Jake Leonard, my normal play-by-play commentator, who's in Oklahoma, Joe Quigley, our producer, Tommy Raines, who's helped us so much throughout the season producing, Colin Stover, Tyler Ballinger, and all our other cameramen. Tyler Ballinger, our statistician today, and the Regis Jesuit Raiders for the 2012 football season. This is Steven Snyder. I've enjoyed broadcasting for you guys the last two years, and I'll see you down the road in other sports.